All right, good evening everyone, and welcome to tonight's pre-festival clinic concert. We're really excited to be performing for you this evening. And I want to explain a little bit about why tonight's event is special and unique, different from all of the other concerts that we perform. You probably noticed the students aren't already on stage. Tonight is a warm-up event. It's preparation for the main event, which is Festival. And that's coming up on March 2nd. We'll be performing at Chelsea High School. It's an event organized by the Michigan School Band and Orchestra Association. And we are performing as part of this concert festival for 3 judges who will be in the room and evaluating how we play. So they're watching intonation, rhythm, musical value, tone, all of the things that we talk about in class. And they'll be giving us a grade, a rating, based on their opinion of how we do all those things. Now the reason we've started not on stage is that one of the things they're watching is how efficient we are as we get on stage and we get off stage. And so tonight we're going to give our students a practice in order to make that go. Our hope is that they'll, as they usually do, demonstrate their professionalism and all of the preparation that we've done in class, but we want to give them this opportunity. Before we start tonight, we want to do a couple of things. We've hired a very excellent clinician in Alan McNair. He's been a wonderful friend and colleague for a long time, a great teacher in the Troy Public Schools, and has many accolades. Alan came into class a few weeks ago and worked with each the 7th and the 8th grade orchestras and helped us to improve and make things sound even better, and is here tonight to serve as our clinician, our adjudicator for the evening. And once the students perform their 3 pieces, then he'll be working with each of the groups, giving us any further feedback that we can use as we prepare for the main event festival on March 2nd. We also have an excellent student teacher who's been working with us since January. Julia Knowles is a wonderful young lady, comes from the University of Michigan, and a fabulous cellist, and is going to make a really great teacher. We've been really honored to work with her. So today we want to give a couple of additional pieces of information. Festival, March 2nd. The times are, unfortunately, a little bit after school. For 7th grade orchestra, we're leaving at classes at 2:20, and then we'll ride the bus down to Chelsea High School. 8th grade will meet at 3:25. The whole schedule for the event is sent out in an email. It's on the back of your concert program, so you can see how all of those things work. You'll probably see an overlap. Our plan there is Ms. Knowles and I will leave with the 7th grade orchestra, and then Mr. Breyer will bring the 8th grade orchestra along to Chelsea, and then he'll ride back with the 7th graders. So that's how that plan will work. So without further ado, we'd like to start things with 7th grade orchestra taking the stage. We'll engage in our tuning procedure. We're going to see if we can make the whole performance fit in our allotted 20 minutes of time. So please, a warm welcome for the 7th grade orchestra. Okay, so 7th, 7th grade perform their performance. Now we're going to welcome to the stage Mr. Alan McNair, former director of orchestras at Troy High School. He's done a lot of really great things. Please welcome Mr. Alan McNair.
We're on? Excellent. Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor for me to come here and listen to this wonderful program at Celine. Mr. Culver obviously is doing a wonderful job, and we've got great participation up here with two really good-sized orchestras in 7th and 8th grade, so it's a really good thing to see. I had a wonderful time coming here and working with these students a couple of weeks ago. I came one morning for 8th, one morning for 7th, and we had a really great time working through some of these pieces and, kind of pointing out some things. And I must say, I see a lot of improvements since then, so bravo to you. Well done, guys. When we go to a musical festival, or the MSBOA Orchestra Festival, the real key that judges are looking for, they're looking for a musical performance. A performance that begins together, that continues together, that ends together, that has a unified sound, that has a unified style, and for the most part, these guys are doing a great job with that. Wouldn't you say? Let's give them a hand. Now, I'm going to just work with them for a little bit. I apologize if you can't hear everything I say, but I'll try to direct my comments to both of you. All right. Okay. Let's. One of the most basic things that a judge is looking for in an orchestra, such as this, or any orchestra really, it's really very simple. Are the bows going the same direction at the same time? Because if they are, that's a good thing. And if they're not, that's not such a good thing. Now, when I was watching this group, I was watching them very closely, and I noticed a few times, maybe you did too, that there were one or two times when somebody's bow got a little bit off, but if you noticed, they fixed it. Did you notice that? They fixed it right away. So it wasn't off for very long. If it was off, it was just for a measure or two, and then it was right back again. So that's excellent. That's exactly what we want to see, is the bow being corrected, making sure that everybody is using the same bow string. It's very important, right? Okay, now, at the beginning of fanfare and frippery, we have a whole note, followed by a whole note, talking about the violins and violas. Then we have 3 beats on a note, and then we have 2 beats on a note, right? And every one of those bars, you want to use a whole bow. So what does that tell you about the speed of the bow? It's going to have to get faster, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's good for the 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The bow is going to have to get a little bit faster, so we can still use a whole bow, right? And that's important. We want to make sure we stay nice and strong. Okay? Let's begin. Let's do a little bit of things. Guys, who's using your bow? So we'll start again. Rock, in, 3, 4, 1. really like a dramatic percentage of that working there. So, okay, so let's move to this. Now, when we talk about style, you'll notice that the first two pieces were very different, style-wise. This first one was jump, and everybody was digging in, and there was this really kind of, aggressive style. And in the second piece, completely different style. Very smooth bows, very long bows, lots of vibrato, right? You should hear the rise and fall of the melody all the time. So let's see if we can do the whole piece as a really big contrast to what we just did in the first piece. So very smooth, right? No accents, very smooth. That's just a fact of orchestra life. When you're playing, it's pretty easy to stay together. But when you're playing, in that slower tempo, it's much harder. So it's a real test of the orchestra to make sure that everybody on this half is listening to this half, and this half is listening to that half, and all of our dynamics are coming exactly together. Right? So that's just something we worked on a little bit when I was here before, and it's getting better. Right? It's getting better now. You want to keep working on it. So you make sure you're always really feeling that the right angle. Okay? All right. Now let's go ahead and go over to the band. Was the Brandenburg Concerto, and there are a couple things about this that make it difficult. First of all, everybody knows it. Well, I'm going to say all the judges are going to know it. Okay, so you can't really get away with anything. The other thing that's hard about this piece, it's in a very difficult key. It's in F major, and we like to play in D major, don't we? And G major, and C major sometimes, and A major sometimes, but F major is a hard key. It's because of the finger placement on the instruments, and of course there's no frets or anything, so it's all kind of by ear. We have to really listen very carefully to play this in tune. And that's the challenge for this piece, right? We all play the very first note that you play in the piece, right? So let's hear the cellos play your F natural. And listen carefully, make sure they match. And then the basses join us on your F natural. And the seconds play your A. Listen very carefully. You always play your C. Now first violins, your F natural. So there you go. That was about 30 seconds, and that was one note. There's about 956 notes in the piece. I have no idea how many notes are in the piece, but there's a lot of notes. And we don't have time, obviously, to tune them just like we did. So rehearsing is taking that exercise and making it quicker and quicker and quicker So the students are really listening and hearing that before they put the finger down, so that the intonation just comes out that much sooner. Right? In this case, that's a real challenge. Right? Let's play just a little bit of it and see if we can listen to this first pitch, and then every pitch after it is actually a tune. That's our movie.
We'll have Mr. McNair come up and work with our 8th grade orchestra again. Give a big hand for Mr. Alan McNair again.
We worked on this, the Mozart, this first piece you heard, when I was here a couple of weeks ago, and we worked really hard on the endings of phrases, because in Mozart's time, when he wrote in a style that was what we call, he used feminine endings. In other words, bum, bum, bum. And there was just a style, and there was dun, dun. It was bum, and I was so happy to see that these guys really did a nice job at that. They were doing all those endings exactly the way they were supposed to, getting those last quarter notes to be lighter and shorter. So that was really great to see. I'm so happy to see that. Made my night. Awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about something else. Well, another one of the things that we're looking for when we're judging is the balance of the orchestra. In other words, is the most important part coming out? Is it being heard? Are we hearing the part that we need to hear? Or is some other section covering that up? And for the most part, these guys did a really good job with the balance. There's one place I'll show you that we can work on it a little bit, and that is bar 37. Let's listen to each part and see if we can figure out which part we want to hear. All right, so here's the bass part. 37, guys. Go. Okay. Right. Interesting, but probably not the melody. Right? Okay, let's hear another part. Here is the viola part. Violas, ready? 37, 3, 4. Again, well done, but probably not the melody, right? Sorry, violas, but it's often the case with violas. Okay, now we're looking, not always. I heard the viola parents. I'm sure I heard the viola parents. It's okay. There's great viola melodies, you'll see. Second violins. There we go, second violin. 37. 3, 4. Okay, again, not the melody. All right? So let's hear the first violins and see if maybe what they have is more interesting. Ready first? 37. 3, 4. Okay, so a little more interest right there, right? Let's do that again so we can get it together. Okay, 3, 4. Okay, now so far so good. I can hear them pretty clearly. The rest of the orchestra is accompanying them, and everything is hunky-dory. It's great. The only problem is that after these two bars, the second violins have what they just played. And when they had it, I couldn't hear it. So what has to happen? Orchestra, you have to be softer and listen to the second violin. Second violin, you have to play dun, 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 soft. D, dun, dun, dun. But then you have to play dun, 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 dun. There's a lot of it. Because you might hear it. Right? Let's see what you do. Go 37, everybody. 3, 4. We talked about contrast earlier. A lot of great contrast in Mozart from these guys. Really well done from the fortes to the pianos, pianissimos. They were together and they did the dynamics really well. So congrats on that, guys. Let's move over to the second piece. So another thing that judges are looking for, I know it's a lot, is tone quality. Playing with a really beautiful tone, really beautiful sound. And that's one of the things that Mr. Culver and I, all of us string teachers work on all the time. It's just something that's, it's part of string playing. It's difficult to get a beautiful tone on a string instrument, much more so than getting it on a saxophone, for instance. Right? But it's easier to play a saxophone with a good tone than it is to play a string instrument with a good tone. And these guys are doing really well. Let's just do a little bit in the middle here. Can you find bar 31, guys? Bar 31. Right now, I'm going to ask you to do something that I would never ask you to do in public, except these are very forgiving public, so it's okay. We're going to play a 31, and we're going to play with a very scratchy bow. And we're going to play really, really heavy. I mean, our bows are going to weigh 1,000 pounds. And we're going to play, and if you scratch, it's okay. All right? There we go. 2, and 3. This time, you play just as heavy with your bow, but you're going to move your bow faster. And because you're moving your bow faster, you're not going to be scratching as much. You're going to see, right? Heavy bow, just like we did before. But faster bow. 2 and 3, go. Now play T, loud, and yes, but without accents. That's the harder part. You can't go run, you have to play T's got to be smooth. I can be heavy, be strong, be loud, let's go but it can't be right? So let's try one time. Here we go. There's no accents here for anybody. That means that your bow is never going to be going like that. It's going to be going T, lots of bow, fast bow, lots of weight you talked about. Yes, that's all good. There's no accents. So there's 1, 2, and 3, go. And so that's just a little demonstration of what we can do in tone quality working with string players. It's never an easy thing to get the tone quality where we want it. Okay, let's take out danza. Okay, last piece. One of the hardest things in string orchestra is to play pianissimo, play really soft. And to make it still sound interesting and still sound like it's going somewhere and it has some quality, it's hard. It's hard to do it. The problem is that there's a natural reaction, anybody who plays a string instrument, and that is when it's really, really soft, to take your bow and to lift it out of the string so it's barely touching the string. Now, if you do that, you get a really soft sound. The problem is that there's very little tone quality to that sound. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just, you guys know what I mean, right? Well, it's really, really light, and it's so light, it's just it's like an empty breath. And so we always have to be careful when it's soft to have just enough weight in the string that there's still tone quality happening and we can still hear each other. Because if it's too soft, then this guy can't hear what's happening over on this side. And then we get into some issues, right, with ensemble. So let's play from the beginning. And let's play it just a little stronger all the way. A little more weight on the bow. And really listen to each other, particularly when you've got quarter notes. We go, beginning, 2, 3, and 4. The other thing that happens, and it's very natural, when you're holding a long note soft, like this, is it tends to die. Especially if we're going down bow. And when that happens, we lose, again, what that sound is supposed to be. So we have to make sure that we keep the bow in the string and moving so that the notes don't die. All right? Your notes have to last as long as they last. And if they don't last that long, other people are not going to know what you're playing. And it doesn't fit really with the rest of the players. You have to hold on to your note as long as it's there. Right? If you have a half note tied to a quarter note, how many beats is that? There's no question. 3. It's 3. It's 2 plus 1 is 3. Last time I checked. Right? So we need 3 beats of sound. We don't need 2 beats and a rest. We need 3 beats of sound. Right? And I think you're getting yourselves into trouble because you're letting go of your notes early, and then the other part of the orchestra doesn't hear that note anymore, so they're not quite sure where you are, so they're not quite sure when to come in. So it was a little rocky. Right? The bow was rocking. Okay, so let's try it one more time at the beginning. Make sure you play every note as long as it's supposed to last. 2, 3, and 4. Off. 2.
Thank you very much to Mr. McNair and to the Sleep Music Boosters for making his visit with us possible, a generous grant from them. And we'd like to introduce you. Ms. Knowles was running a quick errand just as we started, but a big round of applause. This is Ms. Julia Knowles, fabulous. Reminder that the main event is festival on March 2nd. We've got most of our permission slips turned in. This is, of course, a required event, so if you haven't got your permission slip turned in, please do so on your way out. We would appreciate your help in tearing down the concert. So the chairs go to the house left side, the music stands to the right, and the shell, if you'll help us with that. Special thanks to Celine Hornet Light and Sound for making the lights and the sound work. We appreciate you. And thank you very much for all your support. Have a great night. Thanks, everyone.